me to come to and I run a lot.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, as we gather this February, we ask for your guidance in our decisions and for the safety of our students, staff, and community. Protect all who travel on the winter challenges, keep roads clear, schools warm, and hearts filled with patience. Grant wisdom to our leaders, strength to our teachers, and focus to our students. May kindness and understanding guide our actions as we work for the good of all. In your name we pray, amen. Roll call.
Anna Rowland, Nancy Hammerstein here, Judy Troop, Robin Riley,
Here.
Don Nism.
Here.
Thank you all. Presentation and recognitions. Presentation of Employee of the Month and Friends of Education Award. First one will be Certified Employee of the Month, Sandy Hinscrans.
Yes. Okay. She's a good one. No, not usually. Okay, this says Sandy Hassenbratz is the backbone of Union Elementary, and it's hard to imagine school functioning without her. As the instructional coach, Sandy wears many hats, always going above and beyond to support both teachers and staff. She's the go-to person for all things related to classroom success, whether it's stepping in to teach a lesson when students are struggling, mentoring new or seasoned teachers, or covering duties when someone is absent. She is always willing to lend a helping hand, whether it's staying late to write lesson plans for a teacher who's sick or on maternity leave, or even offering a shoulder to cry on when needed. Sandy's expertise and commitment to Union Elementary are unmatched. She works tirelessly to ensure that teachers have the resources and guidance they need to have success in the classroom. She's often found modeling lessons and teaching alongside teachers, sharing her knowledge and expertise to make sure everyone has the support they need. She has a knack for making both new and seasoned teachers feel supported throughout every process, and her presence truly elevates the entire school. Sandy's impact extends beyond the classroom. She is a huge support to the principal and plays a crucial role in analyzing data, setting goals, and helping to drive the initiatives that make Union successful. Her willingness to step in wherever needed, whether it's assisting with projects, helping cut materials, or supporting big picture decisions, makes her indispensable. Union Elementary is incredibly fortunate to have Sandy on their team, and there's no one more deserving of being recognized as Employee of the Month. The staff in the school are better because of her, and I couldn't think of a better person to nominate. Sandy truly holds the line whenever she's needed, and we are lucky to have her in our corner. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Employee of the Month, Donna Harry.
So it's been said that LaDonna is one of the hardest working people at Ponca City High School. She's always at work and she's willing to help in any way possible. LaDonna's work ethic is unmatched. She gets many requests throughout the day and she always remembers the request even if it's a small one. LaDonna makes you feel like you're important and your needs are important. Even when someone tells her that there isn't a hurry in getting the request done, she gets it done the same day. We appreciate all she does to keep the high school clean and running smoothly. PCPS is a much better place with LaDonna in it. Congratulations on being honored as the February Support Employee of the Month.
Good job. Next one will be Friends of Education, Anderson Flooring.
I did not nominate him, but I did add to it. This, poor guy. It says, Anderson Flooring is truly a friend of education. Their unwavering support for Union Elementary is truly exceptional. One of their most recent contributions was partnering with our school for Bingo for Turkeys, which turned into a fun family night enjoyed by all. Their generous donation of turkeys for the event was a blessing to many families within our school, and we are so thankful for their involvement. Anderson Flooring does so much more for Union throughout the year. They kick off the school year by providing $20 to each teacher, offering a much appreciated gesture of support. They also provide all the food for the big AR cookout at the end of the year, celebrating students who meet their AR goals. They even take on the task of grilling. On top of that, they provide incentives for staff attendance and are always there when someone needs fixing, when something needs fixing. Matt Anderson, in particular, has become Union's favorite handyman. From fixing sinks and painting walls to trimming trees and blowing the berries off the sidewalk, he's always going above and beyond to make sure everything runs smoothly. He is so generous with the time and resources, and the staff and students at Union love him. He's affectionately referred to as Union's dad. We are incredibly grateful for all that Anderson Flooring does for our school, and they truly deserve to be recognized as the friend of education.
All right. Don't forget a copy of your picture taken. Other comment? Anybody? Yes. Okay. Thank you.
You guys
Go
want
to
your
you.
pictures up?
Smile big.
Well, you guys are welcome to stick with the meeting.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Superintendent's report. Legislative update. You know what?
Yes, I can do that. Thank you, Chair. And this is Judy Troop's favorite time of the year, legislative update time. She loves it. She loves it. So, it is the first session of the 60th Legislature convened last week on February 3rd for the Governor's State of the State address. We'll talk a little bit about what his address to public schools, primarily a lot of focus on public schools. Key dates that we're following, obviously last week was first day of session. First week in March is when bills must be through committees. That's when the rubber starts to meet the road. We distinguish bills. Actually, a few bills that I have on here actually made it through committee this afternoon. I think have some legs, and we'll probably see the other side in May when we get through this session. The first thing that I always stress to my people is we don't panic, because if things don't happen after spring break, then most likely those bills die. Most importantly, I think your educators are going to play a lot of defense this year, and the reason why in the governor's address is there's just no money out there, so we're going to be focusing our efforts on killing back bills and cumbersome legislative mandates, unfunded mandates. We'll talk a little bit about those moving forward, but the governor did start out asking for all agencies to have a flat budget. I don't know how well that message was received, because each of the agencies combined had about $1 billion of requests in new money for their departments, because there's just a lot of needs for services in our state. Key takeaways, he also called for school boards and legislature to ban virtual days, no more virtual days. So I don't know how that would impact public schools. For us, obviously, we've taken a virtual day already for severe inclement weather. I don't know if your public school model is built on virtual days, such as Epic. Does that mean that that closes that whole model down? If so, if it's good for the goose, is it good for the gander on virtual days? So I think there's going to be a lot of questions on that as we go through the legislative session. He did call for more apprenticeship and internship opportunities. He kept qualifying 250. I'm wondering if that's through schools, 250 new schools or sites. I was unclear on that. Happy to report our internship program is growing and still doing a great job after Jordan has moved on to the career tech system, and our addition of Kristen Casey at the high school. We're well over 120 students. I think we're closer to 140 right now. And we've got plans to get into our alternative school, Wildcat Academy, and get those kids. A lot of those kids are already currently employed and working, so we can actually kind of double dip a little bit and classify those as internships and get points on a report card for post-secondary opportunities. So good opportunity for our school district to capture on some low-hanging fruit there. But Ponca City's well ahead of the curve on internships. We've been studying apprenticeships. It's a little bit of a different classification. Actually, Jordan is working on that through her new career tech position and trying to get us some apprenticeships up and going in our school district. He did ask to remove the cap on the parental choice tax credit program. I don't call this the parent choice tax credit. I call it the private school choice because they have the option to tell kids that they want them or not. So it's really the private school choice program. So he wants to remove the income cap on that. Obviously, I think in a low flat budget where's that money going to come from? On how do we get more access to that program? And in cell phone free schools was his last big call to action. And he highlighted the Bixby Public School Superintendent and talked about their policy. I went and looked up the Bixby Public Schools cell phone policy, and it is almost verbatim, exactly like Ponca City Public Schools cell phone policy. So they have a very similar one where they encourage kids not to have their phones out during class time. It's prohibited. That they can use it between classes or at lunch in the secondary, and then it's not allowed in elementary school. So if that's what the legislature is shooting for, we're ahead of the curve there. We don't have to do anything in our district as far as that goes. So, but I always remind people that because the newspaper headlines go kind of crazy after the governor stated the state. That's just his vision for the legislative session. It's really the legislature that gets to decide what bills get to his desk and what he gets to sign and approve. So I do tell people the Republican Party is the party of small government, but in the last 3 years that I've been in administration in this school district, the policy book's about this thick of new policies that have gotten sent down from the legislature each session after you add up those 3 years. So I'm talking to our local elected officials that, you may pass a good law in good faith, but it adds a whole nother layer of policy and procedure to schools, and it's almost getting, when's the enough? So we want to take care of kids and make sure that we're doing our jobs, and we want to hold them accountable for the jobs they're doing. So hot topics this session, obviously I talked about education savings accounts. We're a firm stance as educational leaders that really is just not parent choice, that's private school choice. And Ponca City Public Schools has accepted 5 kids from the private schools in our area that have been turned away from private school, that they said, thank you, but no thanks, we're not educated. So that was checked today on that. Teacher recruitment and retention, that's still a hot button. We've done a number of things at the legislative level to help that. One thing that I think would be a big help, and the Speaker of the House has a bill on it, is to get retired teachers back into the classroom in a stopgap measure immediately, and 60-day window to retire, and you have that time to get back in the classroom and earn without an income cap limit. I think that would help a lot of ways in the short-term time frame to get teachers back in the classroom. Senator Pugh has proposed several different bills about innovation grants and basically just setting a pool aside of money at the SDE that boards and administration can apply for different innovative programming. So if we wanted to set up a drone academy at the STEM facility at the high school, and we needed a teacher to get a $50,000 certification at some FAA school or whatever, we could apply for that and technically have that funded and paid for. And what's really cool about this, and he said it, I've heard him say it now twice in person, is he does not care if it succeeds or fails. He wants us to be thinking outside the box and trying new things for kids. So not to be scared of the State Department of Ed, but to be creative and think of ways that you can do new things. And he said, just don't let money be a hindrance. So if you need a one-time setup cost or a special certification or training, go get it. And if it falls flat on its face, they'll applaud us. So I thought that was really cool, really neat idea. Obviously, inflationary costs are still a big deal for our district. The first thing I think of is our insurance costs and how it's tripled over the last 5 years in our school district, from $300,000 to now over $1.2 million to insure our school district, which is going to be an issue. We talked a little bit about teacher pipeline. I think there's some great things out there in the way of incentivizing college students to get their teacher's degree, whether that's paying them for student teaching, scholarships. There's a bill out there that the children of teachers could qualify for Oklahoma's Promise. So that would be an awesome opportunity for our teachers to have their kids having access to a free higher education through that program. Okay, so there's 3,000 bills filed this session. They're tracking 448. We're going to go through each one of them. No, I want to talk to you about a few that I think would be great. Now, 448 bills, that's not including shell bills. And shell bills are kind of scary because they could pop a shell bill out the last 2 weeks of session and then populate some language. And they have some special provisions that they can skip committees and then kind of work their way through in a different, kind of a backdoor way. So we do keep track on those shell bills and watch those. This is the first one, House Bill 1276. It was actually in committee today and was approved. It's going to the House floor. And what's interesting about this one is our provision says that you can have cell phones out during lunch and between passing periods. And I'm pretty certain, the language is a little cloudy, but I'm reading it as from the moment they step on campus till when they leave, no cell phones on campus. Now there is a provision for some local control. So if the board wanted to change that or add a caveat that they could, but that could be a tricky deal for you all board members as we get through this legislative session. If they ban cell phones, but then say there's a few exceptions. I don't know how that looks. That's going to be a fun challenge. Yeah, so I think that'll be a local control issue is how we're going to administrate that and deal with that. 1937, I hate it, but it's on there. It provides a parental opt-out exception for digital communication requirement. Last session, remember we had to pass a bill that you can only communicate with students through these certain approved platforms. Well, this bill would give parents and teachers the opportunity to have exemptions, so then we'd have to start tracking and say, well, you can email or text this kid on this account, but then you can't email or text this kid in your class with this account, so it's just going to be, I don't know how, in a 6A school district, you track that and monitor that, so I can tell a teacher that, oh yeah, it's okay to text this kid in your 7th hour biology, but you can't text to your class chat. So that was just going to be a tough one. I think it has good intentions, but it's just how do you track that with 5,000 kids on which way they prefer to be communicated with. So, this one's interesting. This is the Speaker of the House bill, so I've read this bill, and it's just a little unclear right now, but it amends the per pupil expenditure definition. And I put this one on here because the way I'm reading it, and I think this is it, if you start offering concurrent enrollment classes or internships or anything like that, the schools can start classifying, catching some additional revenue. If I'm reading that, they will adjust the state funding formula. Maybe I may be off on that, but that one I definitely think would be a lot of interest for our school district. Concurrent enrollment is very intriguing to me. If they're starting to incentivize that schools offer concurrent enrollment in your building, that could be a big deal for us. Now, it could have implications for the university center. I don't know on how that would work, but that's something we'll have to talk with Piper and Luttrell to make sure that, and our UC partners to make sure they're all aware of that possible bill up there. House Bill 1732 is an interesting one. I know what may impact our local senator and his radio company, but would allow local broadcasters to broadcast a school of athletic activity. You may be asking that, why is that a big deal? We already do that. This would have a provision that during the playoffs, the OSSAA would not have rights to playoff games solely. So Team Radio could come in and still broadcast our Wildcat softball games, for example, without having to pay the OSSAA streaming rights to access that. So obviously I think OSSAA would be firmly against that, and we'll see how that all plays out. That'll be an interesting little fight.
Wouldn't it also be some of the Tulsa schools that charge
Yeah.
for it?
So yeah, if a Tulsa school, yeah, you can have your local cut group come in.
Bixby, for instance, charges.
Yeah, this would open that up, so your local streaming company, so if we were playing a Bixby, we wouldn't have to pay the streaming rights to access the live feed. That one will be interesting. This one, I didn't even know this was a deal, but restricts dependent school students to transfer only to an adjacent district. So in this instance, if a student was graduating from school there, they couldn't say I'm transferring to Ponca because that's not an adjacent school district. They'd have to pick between Ponca City or Newkirk, or I don't think, maybe Shiloh. Do they call it Shiloh? Or is it Ponca City and Newkirk surrounding? But you get the picture. They'd have to transfer to an adjacent school district, not a school district of their choice. So I didn't realize that was even a thing, but you can't transfer to Bixby after you graduate, go there. This one is a kind of an attack at the State Board of Education because we've had a couple instances where the state school board and Superintendent Walters have overridden the local school district's policy on transfers, and even if the school district followed the law as written for transfers and denied a transfer, the state school board overturned the school board's decision and allowed that family to get the transfer. So this bill would require the state school board to honor the local school board's decision on, as long as you guys follow the law and rules. So if that bill passes, that would require the school board, and basically would eliminate transfers getting up to the state level on that. This one was also an interesting one, expands the basis for inter-district transfers to include staying in their feeder pattern of their school. I think also this is students that were in IEPs or different programs that they were kind of cherry picking with programs they were going to. So if they were, I'm going to go to school here for this, but get served by another district, it would, or another school inside of it, just for special services, it would require the kid to stay in one school and not cross a bird to the school district. That one's a little iffy, a little confusing on that one. You guys are, in your seats, are kind of a popular item right now at the House and Senate level. There's a couple bills that want to change election board dates. Little background on this: schools and municipal governments kind of entered into a compromise. It used to be municipal governments had their own election cycle, school boards had their own election cycle, county government had their own election cycle, and it was all unique. So cities and school boards helped say, let's just consolidate our elections at the same time. So we're in that cycle right now. School board, mayor elections tomorrow. House Bill 1151, which was in committee today, I have not heard how it went today, but would change 5-member, I don't know how this would work, 5-member boards to a 4-year term and put our election cycle in the general election. And it would only be for school board elections, not touching municipal elections. 538 would move both the municipal and school board, so that's on the Senate side. And that's going to committee on Tuesday. So that's, those two are hot topic items, and we've talked to, I've already talked to our local delegation that just leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. So they said that they understand that position. I have a number of reasons. One, I think, these local school boards, municipal governments should be nonpartisan, non-political races. They should be about serving your community and serving your kids, not national politics. That's just my personal thought.
Like our positions, they're, of course, they're not paid. A lot of the national elections are paid. Most of them are paid positions on those types of things. It's harder to campaign for a $0 position than it is to campaign for, I would think, and raise money and fundraise for other stuff. I just think it's harder to be part of.
Yeah, without a doubt. Good points. Very good points. House Bill 1276, that was the one that got through committee today. This was a cell phone bill, and it passed. It is going to the House floor. You can see this kind of a little more expanded there. Basically, that's how I read it. Beginning of classroom instruction through the final bell, and while present on school grounds, no cell phones out, or I don't know. So, and then how do we administrate that? I hope that Chad Caldwell from Enid will take all those angry parent phone calls. So, but you can see in there is allows, if there was an emergency that the kids could pull their phone out, or a medical issue. But it is something we just have to be cognizant of how we would administrate that. And those are conversations we have with our elected officials about challenges that we may see.
3 kids in my high school. I know they often use their phones for their assignments, or some of those things. So I just wonder if they've even thought about it.
They'll have to use the Chromebook, I guess. We'll see how it goes. This is a big deal. There's another bill out there that is really House Bill 1275 by Caldwell, also from Enid, that would prohibit social media from being allowed for any child 16 years or younger. Prohibiting that. So, and then I don't know how they would do this, but there's a provision that 16 or 17 would require parental consent. So I don't know if when kids go sign up on their Snapchat that they have to get parent permission, and how does the social media companies document that. But I think that one and the cell phone bills will hit the finish line. So I anticipate this time over the summer we'll be talking about, as a school district, how do we inform our public and students about that. I could be wrong, that's just my prediction. We'll see that. I thought House Bill 2209, this one was not being tracked, but when I read this one, I thought this was interesting. So basically, it would amend the Open Meetings Act that a board member could participate virtually from their home in a school board meeting or a public meeting, as long as we noted it in the agenda ahead of time, or if you were at a conference or something like that. So it's basically giving more public access or more forum to have a forum for board members. So I'll see if that one goes anywhere here by committee week. But I don't know in Jinx if they had issues with board members not being able to make the meetings and needed to dial in. So
Probably a lot of the work needs to be gone out of the state.
Yeah.
Come back in.
So if that was to pass, there would be a provision that if, Robin, you wanted to stay home and watch it at home, and
He'd stay home no time.
we'd welcome that. You could, we'll just say, we can't hear you, you gotta unmute yourself. All right, enough legislation stuff. Ponca City Public Schools updates. Last Friday, we had our first meeting with the Ponca Tribe. Sarah Bell did a great job presenting our Title VI director. She gave basically the same talk that she gave about in November. Was it November, December in this meeting? So there was an opportunity. The Ponca Tribe Council is very similar to this Board of Education. They're willing volunteers that help lead that organization. And I told them that they're anything like our board and superintendent, they hear nothing but positives and how well organizations are running. And so, sorry, I probably shouldn't talk with so much sarcasm, but it's just who I am. It's fun. But they got a kick out of that. And I told them there really wasn't a big ask or anything. It's just we need to have a better relationship. And personally, as your superintendent, I can talk to a lot of individuals, but I just did not have the Ponca Tribe connections. And I don't have the Call Tribe or Otos or Osage or the Tomquills, all neighboring tribes that we serve. We serve 40 different tribes in our school district, and we touch 5 tribal reservations and recognized lands. So I felt compelled that we need a strong relationship with those individuals and groups. So I gave them all my cell phone number and told them that they're always welcome to call, and we desire a strong relationship moving forward. And I think they were really touched by that. And we had Casey Wilson, our pre-K principal, there talking about how important it is, how can we help you increase our messaging on ensuring that kids are getting that opportunity to get into pre-K immediately. You as a board know this, when we have kids that are skipping pre-K and showing up in kindergarten and first grade, they are significantly behind academically. And we were just throwing spaghetti at the wall, see what ideas might stick on how we could partner together as a tribe and school district to help get that messaging out and be present and visible. So I think that's really positive for us. Next month, I'm teasing you with this, but we are going to be announcing our summer experiences through our STEM Academy. That was one of our big deals with Phillips 66, and the donation was we wanted STEM experiences during the summertime for our community and kids. And Alicia's been hard at work with that, and I think she'll be here in March to present on that and those opportunities. Another summer experience that we did last year that was our driver's education program, so I hope we have some good announcements to go with that as well. I think giving it by March 10th will give parents and the community some ample time to plan and prepare for the different things we've got. I had a number of questions about all the changes at the federal level, whether that's immigration, ICE, if you guys have spread in the paper. I've had questions about the Department of Education on that. I don't know which way is up sometimes with what's coming out of the federal government. All I tell people is we're here for kids, and we're going to keep serving kids and doing our best for kids. So we will stand in the gap for the kids in Ponca City and make sure that they are taken care of. And we want to work with our parents and our community, and hopefully they feel the same about us. And we are learning as much as we can about all the changes that are coming. So, but we will try to make it as seamless as possible for our kids and not make it a distraction or a disruption. Our indoor facility and athletic field are progressing ahead of schedule. It was scheduled May 1st for completion. Hopefully before, so I'd like to see our kids out on that this spring. They will get on it in May, guaranteed, but I'd like to see them in a month or so, a few weeks before. But we got to get that place finished up. Jason tells me in operations we're doing well there. They're getting ready to pour some concrete if the weather can stop. Snowing, that'd be nice. Wally Smith Tennis Center, we do have a certificate of occupancy. We are looking at doing a ribbon cutting for that facility. Last week in March, we haven't set the date, but we want to wait till the weather's a little nicer because we want to invite a lot of the alumni that have deep tennis ties in our community. Wally Smith was the National Tennis Coach Hall of Fame, and we want to make sure we honor his legacy in that program in a great way, because I think this board did a great thing and a good service to the community in replacing that old Wally Smith Tennis Center with the one we've got built. So, and I think it'll be great to showcase it when it's not freezing or muddy or nasty out. So we're gonna wait till we get some sunshine and some birds back singing. So, on that. And then we're also doing our WIDA testing. This is occurring at our secondary level. This is the EL score, that is the honorary state report card. We start at the high school and work our way down to the younger kids. Barbara tells me we are going to see some great things coming from that. Yes?
One announcement tonight, they're running the field lights at the outdoor field. So if we get out before 8:30.
That's a challenge. Get out everybody at 13 and go see if the lights are on. Hey, on your board agenda, we are looking at proposing a 25-26 school calendar. We've had a number of eyes on this. We are proud to report that we did count 31 days in March. That was an improvement over last year. And we have a couple of highlights on this calendar. New teacher orientation will be on August 11th through 13th. Teachers will report back on the 14th. Our PED, state required PED day will be the 15th. Teacher work days. Students report, that's the big one. On Wednesday, August 20th. Our school district likes starting on a Wednesday because we had no activities that day. So coaches are in school, kids can be in school for their first day of school, they can meet all their teachers, meet all their friends, and we don't have cross country out or softball out or anything like that. So we always like to start on a Wednesday. That's been just really good for us. We propose to this board having fall break on the 17th and 20th, the same week for Thanksgiving, winter break, spring break, you can see that. I guess it's important to have graduation on a Friday. That was one of the feedbacks from the committees, and so we made a quick change. So that would mean a little bit longer of a spring break, and we would have Good Friday off as a holiday, so we would not have that as a threat to lose on snow day. So you can see snow day 1 and 2 on there would be April 24th and April 6th. So April 6th, we picked as the second snow day so we could try to preserve a 4-day weekend for Easter for families. That's kind of local feedback that we get from the community and family members if we can. So I can't predict the weather though. And if they take away virtual days, those 2 days would have to go. And let's say a big winter storm happens and then we have to make up a day. We have to go to school that last either May 22nd. And hopefully we don't have to make up any more days because after that we're coming back after the
You
winter.
can always cut it back at Thanksgiving break again. I mean, we used to typically not do a full week.
Yeah, but if we probably won't get any inclement weather before Thanksgiving
No, we
break,
don't.
so we would have to. We can't retroactive go back on it. We have
That's
to look
true.
in the spring, so that would be a board decision on what days we would make up. And then only the board would have to tell me, so I would be the bad guy in that. Any questions? And I'm kidding, I'm definitely kidding.
I do have a question, Adam.
Yes.
Anything from our teachers association or anything on these bills or anything so far on how the teachers are feeling?
You know, I haven't had any feedback with them. I do know we support our ACT and encourage them to take legislative leave to go down and advocate for teacher and school issues. I would imagine, and Zach, you're probably gonna, I don't want to speak for your group, but I would imagine we're probably pretty closely aligned to a lot of the bills I shared up there that, because while we may have to administrate it, they have to implement it in the classrooms and in the hallway, so it's not just rules for the teachers and rules for the principals and superintendent, it's rules for all of us together, so. I haven't seen anything from OEA on it, but.
Do you guys meet regularly during the legislative session, you and Zach?
I do with the administrator, I don't with our other board. But if they want to, I'm open to that.
Can I address
Yeah.
the question?
I would welcome that.
OEA hasn't put out their big list yet of legislation they're watching, in part because it's early in the session and there's been a change in the process with how some of the bill, because some of the bills now have to go through 2 committees to get to the floor. And so that's thrown some new wrench into things. In a couple weeks at our organizing conference, they'll do a legislative update where they'll hit a lot more of those bills that are either we like this bill, we don't like this bill, or OEA as the state level is just neutral on it because the membership is divided on it. I know the 25th, Amy Miggy, myself, and Darcy Austin are going to the Capitol to meet with our legislators and possibly others. And before that, we'll meet with OEA and they'll go over specific bills to talk to legislators about. And then there'll be other days that we might have people going as well.
Well, and hot off the press, Senator Coleman just texted me that the school board elections did pass the House committee today, the one that would move the school board elections to November. So we have some work to do on Wednesday when we get down there. So, but he's not, or none of our local guys are on that committee. It still has to get to the floor, get through the floor, and then go through the Senate. So we'll keep talking. We'll keep on it. Questions, Robin?
Yeah, what did you find out? There's been a lot of national attention to the 4th and 8th grader test for reading and math.
That national assessment. Terry, do we participate with the National Assessment of Educational Progress, the NAEP?
They will, yes, they will.
And it's a random selection, right?
Correct.
Do you know which sites got randomly selected the last time?
I should know. I think it was Garfield.
Okay. So,
How do we do?
And
probably not well.
Nationwide, we're not doing
Not
very good.
well.
It's all 4 or 5 points low.
Yeah, and so there's a couple fallacies with that, Renee. One, we expect our teachers to teach to Oklahoma standards. These are the standards the state school board and state superintendent propose and say, these are what we want Oklahoma kids to learn. They are completely not, that's not what the National Association of Educational Placement, NAEP, wants to measure kids on. They kind of norm references and check it on a variety of things. So it's already, we're against the 8 ball because we're teaching them all of these things over here, and they're measuring all of these items over here. And then it's also random selection. So they will pick, for a school district does, they will pick a side and say, these kids are taking that test. So we have no choice in it. They just pick it.
Do we know how Ponca City did?
We can get that. I don't have that with me, but they'll give us a report on it.
As compared to the state.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, Robin, if I'm a kid sitting in class and then I'm given an assessment and said, no one else in Ponca City is taking this, just do this, and then we're going to send it off to federal government. So do your best.
No pressure.
It doesn't change your grade, doesn't hurt your grade, doesn't impact your grade, has nothing to do with what you're doing in Ponca City Public Schools. You can imagine we probably don't get the best effort out of that. So that's the second issue. It's a hard thing to try to get kids to understand, a 4th grader to buy in why this is important for the United States of America to do well.
Speak to that a little. I
Do
talked
other
with
states do the same thing?
Yeah. And I think that's where number 1 comes in this issue because Oklahoma standards are not similar to the NAEP standards, what they expect kids to learn.
But are Arkansas's or other places?
They're more closely aligned.
Yeah, there's a lot of nuance to it. I think whenever you're trying to pull a score off of a single day, a snapshot of what we're doing, the important work that we're doing with the kids every single day, there's so much growth and so much that you can't see in a single snapshot. So I like that our district looks at all the different ways of progress and
Yeah, it's just one of those things, it's how much our time is finite, and I challenge my principals with this all the time, is what is important to us is what we spend our time on. So if our district's focus, if this board says we want to be the best at NAEP, we'll forego the state standards, and we'll go right after that national assessment with all, a vigorous attitude to try to kill that and be the best in Oklahoma and be the best in the United States. But it is a snapshot, one time, come in, random sample, and we really don't have much control over it. So the history, Would it be great? Yes, but in the priority list, I want to get some other key metrics improved in our school district first. So, anyways, but yeah, we can get that report. What else? All right, thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Next item on the consent agenda. Motion required for the approval of consent agenda is printed and or as amended, board members may however call for a separate vote on any and all items listed on the consent agenda. First one is minutes from the January 13, 2025 regular board of education meeting. Second one is contracts agreements under 10,000, and third one being surplus resolution. Like a motion to approve item 5.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you, Judy. Can I have
I'd
a
like
second?
number 2, under 10,000 for separate vote and further discussion.
Okay. Okay, we'll just take a vote on that. For the other two,
You need
you have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, thank you. Roll call.
Robin Riley,
Aye.
Anna Roland, Judy Truitt, Nancy Zimmershed, Don Newsom,
Aye. Item 2, contracts agreements under 10,000. You got a question?
Yeah, I've read the census contract, and there's a lot of confusion on it. It talks about 14 maintenance workers, but we're only getting 11 shirts. I mean, if that's the case, we're looking at a 50% increase. And I guess I need somebody to explain. I think their contract is wrong, to be honest.
Okay.
The 11 shirts on that, that's, so each member, whether that's maintenance or mechanics at transportation, each one of them gets 11. So Centos will come in and pick up the 5 or 6, take them back to their shop and make any kind of repairs. And then our staff will have the other 6 that are brought back for that next week. So
Okay, but it talks about uniform shirts and jackets for 14 maintenance workers. But the price is per person for 11 shirts.
11 shirts per person, and of the 14, 12 are maintenance, and the other 2 are mechanics at transportation.
So they don't have those same types of shirts.
What's that?
So they wouldn't have what he's talking, they wouldn't have those types of shirts. So
Oh,
they
that's the
wouldn't
same.
need-
All the same.
Oh, each one of them get one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And we really want to, those maintenance and mechanics go to different sites, and we just need to, for kids and teachers to be able to identify that those are school employees that are walking in the buildings and interacting either with buses or
Yeah.
vehicles.
That's probably just inflationary costs is what made it go up higher, or is it just because it's?
No,
this is new.
It's a new,
we started doing this a couple years ago, and what increased the cost is codes. So our guys, they're working outside quite a bit. At times, they have to cover for crossing guard. And so we want to make sure that they're highly visible. I know I've been at a site before, and we train our staff to be hyper vigilant on anybody that's on our campuses. And if they don't easily recognize you, they're either going to call law enforcement in or whoever to make sure that no bad comes in the building. So it's important for us to be easily identifiable, especially if they're moving across building to building throughout the district.
Did you guys watch UniFirst out of curiosity?
Who?
UniFirst?
UniFirst? I don't know who UniFirst is.
They're out of Enid and they're great. They're all over the place.
Okay.
Okay, but Jason, if I figure this right, the jackets are costing us $50 a month.
Yeah, that's about average $4.28 a person.
No, it's only, well, we're only getting 2 jackets.
When we started, it was $90 a week, and now it's at $150 a week.
And all we're really
And
adding,
that's 2 staff members.
there's 2
So
staff,
that's 22 shirts, and then that's an additional 4 jackets.
4 jackets.
But if you had the 2 mechanics.
Well,
and
but
then
the contract only talks about 2 jackets.
2 jackets per.
Per person, 3 linen shirts and 2 jackets.
Well, just, yeah, and do they charge repair fees when they go back?
They
to
don't charge
repair?
any fees. It's,
Okay.
it's basically a rental cost. And they
Well,
take care of repair.
They're,
and
trust me,
maintenance.
they're charging the
What
fees
about-
for cleaning them.
What about an upsize? Say if I gain 20 pounds, are they gonna charge that fee or are they gonna change?
No,
it? Okay.
you won't be charged that.
Let's go back and let's table this item, and I'd like to see some other bids
Okay.
on this project. So we kind of pair two things, if we would. Let's do that.
Okay.
I'll get your contact if you want to do that too. Okay.
Yeah, there's a couple out there. More.
Yeah, just before we move on from the, or after we move on from this one, I have a question about one.
Who?
Donald, I have mine on there.
Terry,
It's the
that's
same.
Kate.
It's the same university, the ratification on that one, Terry. Is that one just to include the $1,000?
I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Kate,
The Kate, is
Oh,
that what,
Kate.
the ratification, was that just to add the stipend on there for the teachers? What was that one for?
That, I didn't even put an agreement on. I don't know if she just automatically put that on.
It
Is
probably
it the
just said-
Kate agreement with West End?
it's continuing year 2.
Oh, okay, so it just must be
Okay,
the
yeah,
next
it-
year's.
Yes, because they had early start, and that was 3 schools, and now this next year will be the late start schools.
Okay, I just wasn't sure because we didn't talk about it at curriculum and I wasn't quite sure. And then, I'm really interested to know how that's going sometime, so maybe at the next curriculum we can talk about it. How
Yeah,
that,
and I would encourage any of you to go watch.
okay,
Go and watch the strategy. It's pretty impressive.
sure, give me a schedule of who, or wherever, what, the best.
And
schedule.
I wish you could have seen it from the beginning to now, because you'd see such an improvement
Yeah,
in it. It's pretty exciting.
that is really cool.
Make a motion to table that item. Robin, you got a motion?
Yeah, so moved.
You have a second?
I'll second it.
All right, roll call.
Judy Truitt, Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Motion's tabled. Contracts and agreements under 10,000. True. No, you mean that.
Don't we need to approve the rest
I
of
was
them?
just,
I did.
No, you did.
We
did. Yeah, I thought we were just taking one.
Oh, I was thinking item 2 was like, the item
Well-
2 under the.
No, we approved all the rest of them.
Okay.
Motion, she said.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
And then you went back to Liberty.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So I asked my question before. Okay. That works.
But we tabled all contracts.
That's what I thought.
Yes.
I wanted to table all.
No, we only tabled number 2.
The second one.
Yeah,
Second
we
contract.
only tabled.
We
item
approved
2.
everything
Oh, so
except
do we need to
number
go back
2 the
and
first
approve
time.
too?
I don't know.
You got it.
We
You
should-
want it?
okay.
Okay. All right, good. Next item, action items would be consider and take action on the following district's financial report. Make a motion to approve the financials.
I move, we approve the financial report. We talked about all of those in finance committee meeting.
All right, thank you. Second by Nancy. That's your name, Nancy? Okay. Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Motion passed, thank you. Next item, A2, board to consider take action on the resolution determining the maturities of and setting a date, time, place for the sale of $13,100,000 general obligation building bonds of the school district. I'd like a motion to approve this. We'll have a meeting on the 25th at noon to open bids for that item.
I move, we approve item 2.
Do you have a second?
A second.
Thank you. Roll call.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Don Nizam.
Aye.
Judy Truitt. Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Thank you, motion passed. 2. 3 is considering an approving agreement for the bond counsel service from the Florida Driver PLLC Attorneys at Law. Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve
number 3?
I do have a question on item 3.
Okay, thanks, Judy. Do you have a second?
Second that.
And then we have a discussion.
How much is it for? It doesn't say.
It's for the Bond Council Fund one above.
Yeah, they have an estimate, they provided us an estimate, I think it was $550 to review the bids.
Wouldn't that been under the contract number 10,000 bid?
No, this is language that your district financial advisor provides us, so.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
But
By law, you have to have bonded counsel that is reviewed, and then it's sent to the Attorney General's office for approval.
then I think we ought to.
It would provide for
the estimate of cost.
I don't know if they can provide it until they know what the fees are, or the
Well, then
fees
we'd
and
have to
the-
have a separate vote to approve it.
You will on March 25th.
Yeah, we did, yeah. Do you remember
This
that?
is to provide counsel so that when you do open it, they can review and look back at
Do
it.
you remember they had that, the different bids? on that?
Right.
We did it, that's part of that.
I don't think they can give you a number until they open bids.
Yeah.
So we'll ask Fisher to give us a bid for this bond council
Yeah, I have,
prior to the opening of bids.
Right.
Okay.
Roll call.
Judy Troop. Nancy Zimmershed. Don Nizam.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Motion passed, thank you. Item 4 is consider and take action on the Ponca City School District's calendar for 25-26 school year. Nancy? Is that- Nancy? And second by Judy. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Nancy Zimmershed. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Anna Roland. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Judy Troop.
Motion passed. Thank you. Next one is consider and take action on declaring March 3rd, 2025 as Read Across America Day in the Ponca City Public Schools.
Make a motion for approval.
Second by Judy. Roll call.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Troop. Anna Roland.
Motion passed. Item 6, consider and take action on the bond authorization for payroll specialist position.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Have a second?
Second.
All right. Any other discussion? No? Roll call.
Anna Roland. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Judy Troop. Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Motion passed, thank you. Next item is consider and take action on the following contracts and agreements. A is a quote from Vestas Handlers Incorporated for the work in the Edmund Fair building. B is an agreement with International Student Exchange for the foreign exchange student to attend Ponca City High Schools for the 25-26 school year. And C is agreement with agents for training for district teachers. D is an agreement with Mazzano Evaluation for eye observation. And the last one is E, an agreement with United Community Action Program to provide early childhood services. I'd like a motion to approve A through E.
I'll make a motion to approve A through E.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Troop. Don Newsom.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Motion passed. Next item will be item A, motion to vote convene in executive session for the following purposes: to discuss possible termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel and attach detailed personnel report, to discuss employment of the executive directors and directors. Return to, do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make it.
Second.
Do I have a second?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Roll call.
Anna Roland. Robin Riley.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Judy Troop. Don Newsom.
Aye. We're in executive session.
Get my, I gotta go get my heart.
Return to open session. Minutes of the executive session were kept by the boardsman and clerk and will remain confidential. Number 11, consider and take action on the recommendation for termination, reassignment, resignation, and employment of personnel. Have a motion to approve 11.
I will approve that.
Thank you.
Second.
Second by Robin. Roll call.
Don Newsom.
Aye.
Anna Roland.
Aye.
Nancy Zimmershed.
Aye.
Robin Riley.
Aye.
Judy Truitt.
Motion passed. No new business? Motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second that.
Roll call.
No, just apple that.